What's the most inappropriate thing you've witnessed at a funeral? When my older sister Angie died at 26, her ex-husband showed up to her funeral with their divorce papers to prove he was entitled to his share of her life insurance. Angie died from an undetected brain aneurysm, leaving behind their 4-year-old daughter, Riley. She and Brad had divorced 2 years ago after she caught him cheating with 3 different women. He'd never paid a cent in child support, blocked Angie's number, and hadn't seen Riley in over a year. The morning of the funeral, I was helping Riley put on her black dress when my mom burst into the room. "Brad's outside arguing with the funeral director," she said, hands shaking. "He's demanding to be let in." I told my mom to stay with Riley while I handled it. When I got to the entrance, Brad was waving a stack of papers in the funeral director's face. "Look at the date," he shouted. "We were still legally married when she died. I have rights." The funeral director looked overwhelmed. Brad had always been an intimidating guy, 6 feet 4 inches and built like a linebacker. I stepped between them. "What do you want, Brad?" He smirked, tucking the papers into his suit jacket. "My wife just died. I'm here to grieve and collect what's mine." "Ex-wife," I corrected. "The wife you abandoned along with your daughter." "That's ancient history," he said. "But legally, I'm still listed as her next of kin, which means that $200,000 life insurance payout is rightfully mine." My blood boiled. Angie had been working 2 jobs to support Riley by herself. She'd taken out that life insurance policy specifically to provide for our niece's future. Now this deadbeat wanted to steal it. "You're not welcome here," I said. "Leave before I call the police." He laughed. "Go ahead. I've got the law on my side." The funeral was a nightmare. Brad sat in the front row, making a show of dabbing his eyes with a handkerchief. During the eulogy, he loudly sobbed, "My beloved wife!" Several people walked out in disgust. The final straw came during the reception. Brad cornered Riley, who was confused why this strange man was suddenly paying attention to her. He knelt down and said, "Hey, princess, remember Daddy? I'm going to take good care of you now that Mommy's gone." I saw red. I marched over and snatched Riley away. "Don't you dare speak to her. She's my daughter," he growled. "And once I get that insurance money, I'm filing for custody." That's when my Uncle Thomas, a detective, stepped in. "Actually," he said, pulling out his phone, "I recorded you earlier bragging about how you're going to take the money and move to Florida with your girlfriend. Want me to play it for everyone?" Brad's face went pale. Thomas continued, "I also have records of all the child support you dodged, plus evidence you forged Angie's signature on some documents last year. Should we discuss this with the DA?" Brad started stammering. Thomas smiled coldly. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk out that door, sign away any claim to the insurance money or Riley, and never contact this family again. Otherwise, I'll make sure you spend the next few years in a cell." "You can't prove anything," Brad said, but his voice shook. "Try me," Thomas replied. Brad looked around the room. Everyone was glaring at him. Finally, he stormed out, slamming the door behind him. The next day, papers arrived, surrendering all his parental rights. The insurance money went into a trust for Riley's education. She's 12 now and barely remembers him. But sometimes she asks about her mom, and I tell her how Angie worked herself to exhaustion, making sure her daughter would be taken care of, even after she was gone.